Good evening, my Rabbi. Tonight's Zera Shimshon Shiur is sponsored, first of all, anonymously, b'schus all those that need a shidduch. Thank you, Dr. Anonymous. And a refuah shalema from Mordechai Tzvi ben Chana Rus. So I've been a refuah shalema. Once again, thank you to Torah Anytime for doing such an amazing job of giving Torah to so many people at so many places at any time. And Gracie Ashakayach to all the Masajim who put this together. The schus of Shimshon Chaim ben Menachem Lachol should be a schus for all of us. Okay. What's the name? Menachem ben Reb Sholem. The yard side was yesterday. Ben Shem Zal Helfen Zal Zan Ani Ali Ilui Nishmosai. Okay, Zera Shimshon. Page Reish Tes Vav, letter Chavav. It's actually the last one in this week's Parsha. Parshas Vayera, letter Chavav, page Reish Tes Vav. A hafla of a fella Zera Shimshon, as they all are. He begins with quoting the Gemara in Sanhedrin. The Torah Kedosha says, Vayi achar hadvarim ha'eleh, v'alekim nisa es Avram. The Torah Kedosha did not l'chayra have to say Vayihi achar hadvar ma'ela. Why did it just say Ve'elekim nisas Avram? What's the introduction of achar hadvar ma'ela? After which devarim? Which devarim? What are we talking about? If you look in the Torah Kedosha, go back to see what happened. Avimelech, Pichol Tzar Tzavoi, Vayog Avram Be'eretz Plishtim, Yomim Rabim, Vayachar Dvar Ma'ela. Rashi brings down, Yachar Dvarov Shel Satan. The Dvarim were coming from the Satan. Actually, what Rashi quotes is the Gemara, and that's what the Zera Shimshon is going to talk about. Let's see it inside. Achar dvar mo'ela v'lekim nisas Avram. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, the dvarim of the Satan. Dichsiv, vayigdal hayeled vayigamel. When earlier in the parsha Yitzchak was born, vayigdal hayeled vayigamel vayas Avram mishte godol biyoim higamel es Yitzchak. He made a big mishte. This was already after the bris. Vayigdal. He already became Geresed. Amar Soton Lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Rabbeinu Shalom. Zokein Zeh Chanantoi Lameya Shana Pri Beten. Look how good you were. 100 years old, so many years on Kinderlach. And he had, Baruch Hashem, a child. Says the Satan, Mikol Suda Sha'asa, Loi Haya Loi Tar Echad, A Geisel Echad, Lahekriv Lefanecha. He couldn't bring even a little birdie, Tar, or Geisel, Veret Shemfon, a Groisa Seida, garnished, nothing. That's the taina. The Satan is fartainet with Avram Avinu. He's fartainet. And he's taining zich keneged the Eibishter. The Rabbi Shalom responds in the defense of Avram Avinu. Amar lei klum osa ela b'shvil b'nai. There's nothing he does, right? Ela b'shvil b'nai. Als as far as kind. There's nothing of himself in it. If I would tell him to shecht his son, he would give him up right away. So the Achar Hadvar Ma'ela, according to the Gemara, which Rashi quotes as well, according to this pshat, Achar Hadvar Ma'ela is Dvarav Shel Satan. In other words, that this Nisayan was brought on by the Satan. He asked for it, so to speak. He didn't ask that the Eibishter should tell him to shecht him, But he tainitzach that Avram Avinu is not loyal to you. He doesn't know how to show hakaras hatoiv. You've done good for him, and he's not showing hakaras hatoiv. That's the Satan's taina. And the Eibusher says, what do you mean he's not loyal? He is the most loyal being in this whole world, maybe that ever existed. He's neman. He would do anything. No. So kacha by achar hadvar ma'el vakim nesas Avram. How old was Yitzchak when he was brought onto the Akedah? 37 years old. Zokt Reb Meir, some others, Tzodek. Right? When did this story happen? When he just grew up. Vikosha. Frek the Zera Shimshon, this is the kasha of the evening. What took so long? Vikosha. The im kain hoyle tzavis hakedis Yitzchak laAvram miyad kishenigma v'nasa mishta. It should have happened right away. It says that Avram lived yomim rabim in between. This happened of maybe a good if Vayigomel Yitzchak was 3 years old, 12 years old, and 37. We're talking about at least 20 years, maybe even 30 years later. Lama himtin ad shahoya Yitzchak ben lamed zayin shonim. What took so long? Ve'im nemar shasoton kitreg miyad la'achar mishter la'achar zman. Maybe you're going to say because the kitreg didn't happen until much later. V'kivon shekitreg miyad siva kadosh baruch l'avram hakedas b'noi. And as soon as the kitreg happened, it happened right away. The reason we waited to 37 is because the Sutton wasn't mekatreg right away. What did he wait for? In other words, if the Sutton was mekatrig right away, so why did Shimshon wait? And if the Sutton was not mekatrig right away, why did he wait? Bekitzer, the kasha is somebody over here delayed this. Who delayed? The Eibishter delayed or the Sutton delayed? And if yes, whichever one, lama. Why taka? What's the cheshbon of waiting for Yitzchak to be 37 and Dafka 37? V'yesh loimer. Zokt the Zera Shimshon. Shebevadai hasotan hischel lekatrik miyad achar suda. The Satan's job is lekatreg. As soon as the Satan sees something wrong, why would the Satan wait? It's logical to assume at the first opportunity, the Satan was mekatrig miyad. Avada. Avamidas HaKadosh Baruch Hu leherachapoi. Afim harishoyim. The Rebbeinu Shalom doesn't demand right away. He gives erech apayim even for Rishoyim, even people who don't deserve it. Kedamrinan, like the Gemara says in Sanhedrin, erech apayim lit tzadikim v'le Rishoyim. V'avkan herech lasa zeh nisoyin la'Avram. The Rebbeinu Shalom waited to make this nisoyin. Ve'enach hanami sha'asoten hayatoymed haylechu mekatreg. From the first opportunity that the Satan had to be mekatrig, the Satan, he knows his business. Lost nicht up. He doesn't leave alone. He will be mekatrig and mekatrig and mekatrig. Lost nicht up. Right? That's his job. That's his essence. Tog teglach. Rabbi Shalom, Avram Avinu, was tutzach mit dem. Odiom. Nicht lo evi korban. Nachamol. Every day it must have gotten worse. Shemekatrig aleya misho shechamo sheosu imachoitim shemekatrig aleya misho shechotu ad shash yasim amdim la'acher erech hapayim shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Berger says, savlanut, chakeh, he'll do tshuva. Another day, another week. Avram Avinu knew ad emasai until I have no choice. Aval adayin chaser tam. Okay. So what was the cheshbon of the Eibusher? So why did he wait so long? Ad shana zu dafka. What's 37 years old? Vosepis. Taka kasha. Why now? Vanira Leimer. He said it should be for shidduchim, right? So this is a shidduch teretz. Ezokta shidduch teretz. Vanira Leimer. The beper kama desoita amrinan. Arboim yoim koidim yitziras havlad. 40 days before a person comes to this world, koidem yitziras havlad. Basko, famous yoitzes v'oimer, bas ploini leploini. Bas ploini leploini. V'kosvu sham b'toisvis. Toisvis writes, Nira Larim, Shezeh habaskoil, hu koidim yitziras hazocher, beinim noilad anakeva, beinim loy noilad. You don't have to have the nekeva around. Adarabba, think about it. Usually the boy's older, right? Usually. The boy's older. So if the boy's older and Bas Pliny, she's not even there yet. Einachanami. Whether she's there, whether she's not there, it's totally in the fellow. Bas Pliny lepliny. And a basko goes out. Says the Zera Shimshon, maybe you and I don't know was a tutzach in Himmel. But the others HaKadoshim knew was a tutzach in Himmel. They knew what was going on. Im kein hoyel shekoidem yitziras Yitzchak yotzes baskol abbas zugoy. So if there was a baskol about bas zugoy, al kochach v'nisparsam hadover bebezdin shalmalo. So gezucht in Himmel, who was Rivka's father? Besuel, right? Lavan was the breeder. Besuel, right? So kvar yotza os that it went out. She Yitzchak osid Lisa, Isha, right? And he's going to go ahead and get married, right? If Yitzchak is going to get married, he's going to have kinderlach. If he's going to get married, he's not going to get shechted on the mizbeach. If he's going to get married, so what's with this? As eina oimed li karva gabe mizbeach. If the baskoil, which l'chayr is true, it's a baskoil, it comes from heaven. Oy bazoi, v'kivan shenisparsim lamala, if a baskoil is yoytz, a baskoil means you can hear it. If they hear it in heaven, it's not a secret. It's not a secret, it's a baskoil. If a baskoil means, right, baskoil yoytz mahar Sinai, it means it gets broadcasted. Maybe you and I can't hear the baskoil, right? But those who know how to hear this baskoil hear it. So it's heard in Shamayim, Viksiv, and it says, Ki oif hashamayim yoylech es hakoil, ubal knafayim yagedover. The birds know what's going on. The birds can go ahead and talk about it. The thing becomes nisparsam for those who know how to hear, listen to a baskoil. Oy bazoi. So those who know, Ein oid nisoyin gomor la Avraham. So there's no longer a nisoyin. Favos sheyoimru habriyos. People are going to say, Shavram hoya navi. V'yodeya sheyitzchak osed liskayim b'shvil zeh osa atzmaikim izdares. Meaning, Avram knew the truth. He knew that the Eibishter wasn't going to really have him shechten. And after Hungreiten van Chasana. What's wrong? It's in his git? Shmuley, it's okay?
Hashem promised him anyway he's going to have children and be Yitzchak before the Parshas of Zera.
Right.
So he would do that. Hashem promised him. He was saying he didn't.
You're asking what was different than Kibi Yitzchak. What's the Zera Shimshon legging tzi?
You were promised, so you know it's not going to happen anyway.
And maybe this is, I hear, emisses effects that go to kasha, right? If the Berger had gesagt, a baskol is even better, right? It's reconfirming what the Berger says, only maybe because now you even know who the zivig is. So it's even more practical, right? It's more, I even know, not only do I know that he's going to get married, who wouldn't give to know, even if your kid's not married, but at least tell me who it's going to be. Skenzan, like everybody says in Shidduchim, right? It takes a while. It's if at least I knew how old I was going to be, I wouldn't be so nervous. So if it'll be 24, 25, 26, even somebody say, I know I'm 30. Okay, can I Maria get cup? And if you know who you're going to marry to, the chzicher get. So Yitzchak already, l'chayre, abas kol yotzes. That means there was no shatchonis. There's no shatchonis. He knows who it is. Right? The baskol is the shatchan. Right, so fragt sich Akasha, 1 second. He knew that Yitzchak would be around. So Avram Avinu, Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. You know that he's only taking you there. He's not going to tell you to do it. He has a maidala waiting for him back in the house. Right? There's one problem. There's one big problem. She's not born. While Yitzchak was young, if Yitzchak would be young, and he's not even marriageable age yet, so no, I have to be ala la'oila. But I know who his zivig is already. Now listen to this line. I mean, this line is unbelievable. Sheyesh kama noshim, you ready? Shenoldu eser oy esrim shona koidam bas zugam. I don't know what kind of shidduchim they made back then. Esrim shona? I mean, he was 37 and she's 17? Esrim shana? Chweis. So steht? Ma?
She was 3 years old, no?
She was 3.
One second. He's talking before Rivka. In other words, a boy could be 10 years older or 20 years older. It means when the boy's 20 years old, his zivig gets born. You get it?
Yeah, so
Or,
robbing the cradle.
yeah. ואיפה שתנולד אחר כך. אומנם לאחר שעברו למד שנה, but if Yitzchak Avinu is already 37 years old, ועדיין לא נולדה, and she ain't born yet, יש לומר שאף על פי שמתחילת יצירס יצחק עשה הקדוש ברוך של בן בסוע, בס בסוע זוגוסוי, maybe taka. Early, don't forget, before Yitzchak was born, Arboim Yom Kodim Yetziras Avlad, it said who the Zivig was, it's 37 years later, and she's still not born yet. What happened to that Baskoil? The imkol zeh hoyo shadayin leinoda svarehi loy meshakadosh baruch hu ata roitze Yitzchak la'oila. Maybe it's chapes gemacht umishum hachi loy rotzov shetavoid la'oila ma'isa bask. He heard the gezerah that take him up to be oila. Rivka's not born yet, so maybe the Rebbe really means it. The Zera Shimshon's timing, you know why the Rebbe waited so long? He wanted to wait to a time when there would be ki'ilu a yiyush, potentially, of him getting married. Because at this age already, 37, she's still ben besu, he knows where to go. There's no kid there.
So what
Did
the basketball come out on Yitzchak then?
But 40 days before it was created. The Gemara says, like by everybody. What's that?
Before the boy was created, before Yitzchak was created.
Of course. Taisva says they don't need her to be created. It's all about the boy. So this came out 37 and 40 days. 37 years and 40 days. That's right. Remember, convert until... Yeah, that's when it came out. So the assumption, Tainas the Zera Shimshon, is that Baskol has become defunct. It's bottle. Scheiner Shayach. At least Avram Avinu could possibly think so, making this a real nisayon. So now, no more Baskol. Why? Because the Eibishter really wants Yitzchak as an oila. So, like there's an Inyan by Zivugim, Lefi Maisav, Zivig Rishon, Zivig Sheni. There is such a thing. Why? What happened to the Baskol? There is such a musik. So, L'chayr over here, it's Scheiner Shayach. Uma'ato, because he is so old now, Hu Nisayin Gomor LaAvraham. This becomes a real Nisayin. And how do I know that this was the catalyst? The Ra'il Davar Shetekev Shechazer Avram min ha'akeda. As soon as he comes back from the akeda, miyad nisbasa shenoda Rivka. He finds out that Rivka's K'may Shapirish Rashi B'chumash. So Oy Bazoi, meaning to say the whole information that Rivka was being born was needed, that it shouldn't be known before the Akedah. You can't know it so that the Akedah should be a real test. As soon as Akedah is over, Bivakasha, now we're going to tell you immediately. It's immediately what you need to know. Why? Because now I didn't tell you, I didn't allow it because I needed the Akedah to be a good Akedah. Those are the Zera Shimshon. Uma'ato kitroge shel soten einachanami. He's will take a b'shas hasuda. I want to tell says the Zera Shimshon Avada the Sotain was mekatric from day one. Going back to our original question. V'tomid kol elu hashanim. Relentlessly. He never gave up. Shirotza Kodesh Baruch Hu lahamtin. He wanted to wait. Kedei shehein nisoyin gomor la'avram. He wanted to be a real nisoyin. Okay, now you're going to ask me, why 37? Al Levilan Vissen. The Zera Shimshon saves the best for last.
That's when Rivka was born.
Rivka was born according but because of that. So well, listen. V'harbe taimim nemar al derech yisoid lama himtim ad lamed zayin shonim. There are many reasons al pi soid why 37. Aber I v'hayoser pashit, says the Zera Shimshon, I want to give you the most simple pshat. Why the Eibishter waited for him to be 37 years old. And like I said, we got the best for last right now. Zog the Zera Shimshon, yeah, listen, Yitzi walks in, we're talking about Rabbi Yitzchak over here, we're talking Yitzchak Avinu. Zog there, why was Yitzchak 37 years old? When you start the Bria, there are 37 times it says the name Hashem. Which name? The name Bekulam B'Shem Elokim, Loshen Din. All of them, Elokim is the name of Din. That's Hashem's name of judgment. Ad B'Yom Asois Hashem Elokim. So throughout Parshas Bereshis, from the beginning, Bereshis bara Elokim, Es Hashamayim v'es Haaretz, Vayomer Elokim Yehi Or, Vayera Elokim es Or ki Toiv, Vayera v'Vayker Yom Rishon, Yom Sheni, Vayomer Elokim, let there be a separation between the Mayim. Vayera Elokim, again and again and again, it says Elokim, till the end, till Vayechulu, state 32 times Elokim. In Vayechulu Hashamayim v'Haaretz v'chol tzomeichal Elokim Vayom Hashem Malachta Asher Asa. There's another few times, 3 times it says the name Elokim. Then it says V'Yom Asois in Perek Sheni. It says another time, and on the 37th time it says Hashem Elokim. Yud Kei Vav Kei. The name Yud Kei Vav Kei is the name of Rachamim. Shemaktim Hashem Rachamim Lemidas Hadin. V'hi soid akedas Yitzchak lahachlish koyach hadin. The Eibishter, right, accepts the purpose and the secret on Rosh Hashanah. When it's Yom Hadin, we have and we read Akedas Yitzchak, we blow the shofar from Eloi Shel Yitzchak. We speak and say in our davening, right, it's Yom HaZikaron Zichron Trua, that the Zera and Yitzchak Abem Shem Zol gedenken and remember the Akedah, the Zchus, and therefore the Berger Shem Zol Rachmanis haben. V'zeh lahachlish koyach hadin. So therefore, the first thing you need to know is that the amount of din in the world was 37. Okay? That happens to be v'oid she'ikar ha'Torah hu hevel piyam shel tinoka shel beis rabban. The pure mouths of the Tinoika Shal Beis Rabban, Shemekaimim Es HaOlam, Ba'Torah Nitna Mesitra de Yitzchak, Vehevel Oile Lamed Zayin. And Hevel, the Hevel Pim is 37. The koyach of Torah to be able to sustain the world. But it still needs a hezber. Medaf noch mazber. Ma? Hevel. Hevel Piv. Ki b'dvar Hashem shamayim nasu. Hevel's gematria 37. So this happened at a time of maximum din in Yitzchak's life, so that he should make an act of rachamim, of giving over everything, so there shouldn't be any din. That's what it says. But it needs a hezber. In Zachinu, we're going to use a shtickle of our tefillah to explain this. Somebody brings a siddur, please. Just bring a geher. I forgot to ask. A siddur, just a regular siddur. In davening, we say, again, the Zera Shimshon says we're being mikasher, the shem Yud Kei Vav Kei, to the shem Elokim. We want to ease the din that the Eibishter brings into the world. All of these names, Elokim is a name of din, and we want to bring a bissel rachmanis. Avram Avinu was the one who did that. We say in our daily tefillah, in Vayera David, Atuhu Hashem levadecha Atosisas hashamayim Shemei hashamayim V'chol tzvam Ha'oretz v'chol asher aleha Hayam v'chol asher behem V'atam achayes kulam Utzva hashamayim l'cham mishtachavim. These are all the words of Nehemiah in Sefer Nehemiah. Then Atahu Hashem hu Elokim Asher b'charta ba'Avram, v'hoitzeisoi me'ur kazdim, v'samto shmoi Avraham, u'motzoso es levavoi, ne'emon lefanecha. This is problematic. Avram became Asher b'charta ba'Avram, v'hoitzeisoi me'ur kazdim, v'samto shmoi Avram. When you took him out of Ur Kazdim, you made his name Avram? Is that true? No, it's not true. Right? When he was thrown into Ur Kazdim, he was Avram. He was much younger. He was in his 50s or 60s. When he was changed the name to Avram, he was how old? 99 years old, right? Right before his 100th birthday. He was 99 years old. That's when he went from Avram to Avram. This isn't correct. What do you mean? Asher b'charta ba'Avram v'yitzeisim or kazdim v'samta shmei Avram? That's not the way it happened, right? So what's up? What is it? First, man, this is the words of Nehemiah. Zokt the Sefer Roikeach, Rebbe Lozer ben Yehuda Germaiza, a makubal from previous generations. Maybe I think the time of the Rishonim. I think. Zokt der Azoi. There's another diak. Atahu Hashem Elokim. Why does it say, oh, Atu Hashem Elokim? Zokt Roikach. Up until Avram Avinu, nobody knew who created the world. It was all Avodah Zara. This Avodah Zara. I mean, it says Elokim. Akim is the power. But who created it? Listen to the lashon of the Roikach. Sokter Azoi. Lama Hashem Elokim. Lefi shebemaisa bereishis nivra b'shem Elokim. V'lo noida mi boroi. Ad sheba Avram, until Avram Avinu came, and he said, and he showed the world, and it was Megala Hashem Shmoi, which was Betchilos Yud Kei Vav Kei Koidem Ha'olam. Kasher Haven Avram, when he understood V'chokar Mechachmosoi Ki Shmoi Havaya, he was the one who revealed it. When? When did that happen? When in history did we find out that Hashem was the creator? You know when we found out? The Torah tells us. When? Then Zoksta, when Avram stood in front of Nimrod, and Nimrod said, you don't believe that I'm the God? You think that there's some other creator who created all of this? Prove it. I'll throw you into the fire. Avram Avinu is thrown in, and the fire extinguishes. At that moment, the world found out that there's somebody, what Avram Avinu was timing all along was really true. He's right. At that moment, the name of Hashem and the identity of the Eibishter was revealed. And the emes it's a pasuk in the Chumash in Parshas Lech Lecha. When Avram Avinu says to the Eibishter, I am v'anoichi hoylech ariri, I have no children, what's going to be with me? Like Ben Meshek Beisi, he's the one going to be Yerush me. Says HaKadosh Baruch Hu to Avram Avinu, Ani Hashem, Yud Kei Vav Kei, Asher Hoitzei Sicha Me'ur Kazdim. Ur Kazdim was that time in world history that Anoichi Yud Kei Vav Kei. That's when the world saw for the first time that there's a Bashefer. You're the one who was brought the zivug of Yud Kei Vav Kei to Elokim. You taught the world that all the Elokims in Bereshis, all of those 32, 37, all of them come from a power who is Hashem Elokim. Where is the first time, on the 37th time that it says Elokim, there is revealed Hashem Elokim. Which pasuk is that in the Chumash? Now listen to this hafla of a fellow. Listen to this unbelievable machshava. In Perek Beis, pasuk Dalid, zok the Torah Hakdosha. Eile toldos shamayim va'aretz. Bihiboram, when he created them. Biyoim asois Hashem Elokim. Bihiboram be'avraham. Avram biyoim asois Hashem Elokim. On that day that it became revealed to the world that there's Hashem Elokim, it happened be'avraham. Because of him, he created this. Okay, be'avram. He brought the means to say he was megale, that behind the midas hadin of bria, ida midas harachamim. He was megale that. And therefore, Avram Avinu was given the schus that all the dinim of the world could be mamtik. The 37th time it says in the world the din, it says in Bria din, where mizgala that the hevel piv, that the Eibishter was at bashafen the Welt comes, it says Vayomer Elokim, but there's Hashem Elokim. There's shitav imoy midas harachamim. There's Rachmim. Who brought that out? Avram. Ata bacharta ba'avram. V'oitzeisei mu'ur kazim. Ata hu Hashem Elokim. Says the Reikeach, when was it Megala that he was Hashem Elokim? In Ur Kazdim. Who did that? Avram. When he did that, so you made the world for him. Bacharta be'avram, eila toldei shamayim va'aretz behi ba'aram, biyoy masois Hashem Elokim. What Adam Arishon made was hevel. What he meaning to say, the world of Adam was falling apart. It was falling apart ad kedei kach that the Eibishter was ready to destroy it a second time, just like he did by the Mabel. Who gave it form? Avram. There are two times it says in the Bereshis Bihi Baram. One is here, and one is in Perek Hey, when the Torah Hakdosha chazers over the creation. it says in the beginning of Perek Hey, Zeh Sefer Toldos Adam B'yom Broi Lekim Adam B'dmus Elekim Asa Oisai Zocher V'nekeva Bar Vayivarach Oisam, he blessed them. Vayikra Eshmam Adam B'yom He Baram B'yom Avraham B'baram Shmam Adam. Do you know when Adam, who was once upon a time Adam, until he sinned, and then he got an Orla, and he was no longer Tselem Elikim, like it says in Avos Reb Nosson. Do you know what happened to him? He was created Adam, but then he ate from the Eitz Hadas, and it was Nisvasef the Orla. Says Avos Reb Nosson, he no longer looked like the Tselem Elikim. And then a person 20 generations later, says the Reiker, who was born on Rosh Hashanah, the same day Adam Harishon was created, 20 generations later, was given a bris milah. Vayikra Shemoy Avraham. That was the Tzuras Ha'adam Sheba B'chazara. While he was known as Avram, he was still an oral. When he became the Samta Shemoy Avraham, he became the Adam through which the purpose, the world was created. He became the Adam of the world. So when you say every single day by davening, of all the stories of Avram Avinu, yes, there are many people who probably say the Akedah. But in our Psuki de Zimra, we don't mention the Akedah. What do we mention? Ato Hashem Elokim asher bacharta ba'Avram. Ato Hashem Elokim. The Rebbeinu Shalom waited till Yitzchak was 37 years old. 37 times it says the name Elokim in the Bria before the Rebbeinu Shalom is Mishtatif Rachamim. Who brought that Rachmanis? Avram Avinu. When? We was Megalid in Ur Kasdim, when they threw him into the fire, and then everybody saw who Hashem was. The Hashem Elokim happened in Ur Kasdim, Rabbi Isai. It happened there. Ato b'charta ba'Avram v'oitseisem Ur Kasdim. V'samta shmei Avram, you brought back the Tzuras Ha'adam. He was mevatel himself and gave up everything for you. Umatzosa es levavoi nemon lefanecha. So, and then, every time the Satan says, "Oh, but Gornish gebringt," he didn't bring me a toy, he didn't bring me a zok der Beinishon. You have a taina? Adarabah, let's see, Taka. What day are we maskir yene? On Rosh Hashanah, on the day of the din. Bring the tainas. Bring that taina. Let's see. You know what Avram Avinu does? He makes it that midas hadin has nothing to say. The din can garnish farvos because Avram was taka oimed with the taina of the din. Still, he was oimed bin Nisayin. That's what we remember every single day by davening. And I'm going to finish with this. Before you say Shemona Esrei, you start Hashem Svasai Tiftoch. Says Tosfos, why Hashem? Lo haya mi shekare la'adam hakadosh baruch hu odoin ad sheba Avram Avinu. We invoke the schus of Avram. He represents the Adam Harishon 2.0. The Adam Harishon who, when Adam Harishon was created, was the beginning of 6,000 years. 2,000 years later, Toyu Vavoyu. The next 2,000 years is called Torah. Who starts those 2,000 years? Avram Avinu. He starts the world off again. But with his beginning, that's already Torah. He starts that time. Zanimitaka zoicha to have a zatata like Avram Avinu.
Avram is Gematria Rachim.
Avram is Gematria 248. Zokt Rabbi Kitei, which is Gematria Rachem. And it's 248, which is all the mitzvahs and the tzuras ha'odam. Thanks to Avram, he's mishtatev the rachem with the din. Rav Chananya ben Akasham wrote to Kodesh Baruch Hu, Lazaka says, Yisrael leficha chebodam Torah mitzvah shenemar Adonai chafetz leman tzedkoi yadil Torah ve'yadir.